Good. So I think we are live. Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new Teach Me Live webinar, a live show where we are trying to teach the social media professionals all things social and to show them examples for real life agencies. Today I have with me Alex Khan. Alex Khan is a serial entrepreneur, a social media coach and lecturer. As early as 2005, he was running one of the largest social networks in Germany. Since then, he has founded Germany's largest professional modeling community, a place where he connected the model, the photograph, the makeup artist, stylist, and model agencies from all around the world. Today, Alex and his agency, Attractive Media, work with local and international brands such as Red Bull, OP, Vela, SAP, among 15 other companies. His focus lies on the creation of a uniform social media strategy and performance ads. Attractive Media recently became one of Facebook marketing partners. So, Alex, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Very excited.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Before jumping into the subject and for this Teach Me Live show, I'm going to share with you some housekeeping notes. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. You can come and say hello to us. It will take up to 30 minutes. And please ask Alex questions about social media and get from him real life example from his agency. Alex, congrats for being a Facebook partner, a Facebook marketing partner. I'm pretty sure that this certification means a lot for your clients. Can you tell me a little bit about you? Why did you started with a social network, a community for modeling, and now you are a social media expert? Why this change, and what type of things and services are you doing at Attractive Media?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a long story, but to cut it short,
the short version.
The short version is, I mean, I was modeling next to university back in 2002, 2003, and by accident, I came across a social network called Attractive People, which had a lot of models. And for some reason, I came in touch with the founder. We had a great vibe with each other, and so we tried to build one of the first networks together, which was a great success. So it started B2C, so it was events and lifestyle, and then it changed to a B2B platform because, as we all know, a big blue dominating force came to Germany called Facebook and dominated the whole marketscape. And so we changed it to models and photographers and makeup artists, and it became like a little LinkedIn platform, but just for focusing on the fashion industry. And I should simply stick with it. There were a couple of other places I've been, a couple of other brands I built, but for the last, let's say, 15 years, I stick with social media, which I believe is a long time. And people call me expert. I call myself someone who tries to find places where there's underpriced attention and help my clients to gain the most out of the possibility we have in the century we're living right now.
That's great. That's great. So basically, you started working and doing things on social media since the Facebook.
1 year after Facebook, we started.
Yeah.
It's been a time.
That's great. What type of services do you offer at Attractive Media?
The whole branch. I mean, it always starts with assessment to understand where the client is at. And then we try to optimize the whole customer journey. It starts with the first ads you're seeing. It goes to the website, optimize the conversion, retargeting. So when you think about in social media terms, it's creating content, influencer marketing, performance marketing, measuring ROI, and building up a strategy which is long-lasting and extensive.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So the subject for this Teach Me Live is social media ROI. You mentioned before that you are focused on these two. So how do you define the social media ROI?
Well, the short version, it's your yield, it's your revenue divided by the total investment. Means like the money you spend, the people that are working on the project, of course, the agency cost, the cost for producing content. So everything you put in, and at the end, what's the net worth of what you're getting back? Which of course is not that easy, but that's the topic of today, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Because I was wondering how do you measure the social media ROI for your clients? Let's say for specific clients, let's say you are looking at their social media goals. You first establish the social media goals, then you track specific social media metrics to reach those goals.
Yeah, I mean, it always starts, we call it Clarity Day. So with every client, before we sign them, we do 1 day workshop with them to really understand what is the status quo for them. What is the competitors are doing? Yeah,
Okay.
what are the gateway keepers in that industry? To understand what is possible. We are thinking in 12-month terms. And it's about setting the right expectation management to understand like what is possible that we can do together. And then we come up with a couple of goals. It can be, of course, the most important metric is kind of return on investment, but that's not the only one. It's also about like customer satisfaction. It's about reach. It's about brand awareness, right? It's about, it can be many different things. And it's usually a mix of all of these, depending on where that brand is at. If it's like early stage startup, or if it's like a big corporate, it depends. And that's what we find out in that 1 day workshop, to see like, okay, that's the status quo, that's happening in the market, and that's what we can achieve. And then we write that down. I mean, most brands, when they start with social media, they just start with it, right? You need to set up goals to, at the end of that period, understand what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
And what we improve. And so that's the basics of how we start working with a client.
Oh, that's interesting that you basically you create that in 1 day you are trying to understand the landscape for that client and what they are trying to reach out on social media. That's pretty interesting. Let's say if you have to choose between customer satisfaction, brand awareness, sales, loyalty and retention, what is the primary business value of social media?
Fortunately, it's all of this, and unfortunately, it's all of this. It's a double-edged sword. How I see the world, your success in social media is a direct reflection of how much you care about people.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, in my eyes, employees come first for any brands. That should be the first thing, because that's what long-lasting. Second, I care about the customers of my client. And third, I care about my client. So in short, customer satisfaction is very important, especially nowadays where it's getting more and more expensive to reach out to new people. So there is a big upside in retaining your existing clients by doing retargeting, by doing email change, by doing that whole funnel and optimizing it, by focusing on your website so that it converts better. What I see as a big mistake, for example, is that most people think that when you run an ad and you try to get the return on investment of that ad, you take a look at the sales. But there is a big line, and there are a couple of steps between it. Of course, someone is clicking on the ad. You have to take a look here at the click-through rate. So for example, on Facebook, Instagram, a click-through rate of 1% is a good value. If it's 1.5%, it's good. If it's less, it's not that good. So that's the first thing. But they just clicked. They didn't buy yet. So they just come to your website. So next, when you have an e-commerce store, for example, They take a look at your product. Then they add a product to their cart. Then that whole buying process starts, right? They need to initiate the checkout. They need to purchase the product. And that's the end of the thing. So it starts with, first of all, understanding the ad, the creative. I see it always as a triangle where you try to combine content with context and community. And you have to take a look at that full line. And also, after he purchased the product, what happens then? Right? Do you send them a couple of emails afterwards? Do you retarget them again 30 days later, and so on? So there's so much in nowadays time what you can do. And I see a big mistake that you just take a look at the ad and at the purchase rate, and you say like, the ad didn't work, but you forget about the whole funnel, right? So you have to look at all of these.
But usually clients don't understand this journey. Usually they are trying to focus, okay, so I have this budget and I got this number of sales. How do you explain to your clients the importance of focusing on this journey? To
show them the different metrics. I mean, they understand it. I mean, we have to understand, we as a social media consultant, we as a social media agency, 24/7, we focus on social media. In my case, I do it for 15 years. Of course, all the thoughts I'm having is not someone who's running a business, who thinks about logistics, who thinks about HR, who thinks about investors, who thinks about so many different things. And one part of it is that marketing, and one little part of that marketing is the social media. I mean, it's growing, but it's still a little part. So you have, and that's how we always try to start, and that's why we call it a workshop. We try to make our clients to understand what's important in nowadays time. Because I believe the people who understand the practicality of the moment are the people that win. But you need to educate your client first that he understands. You understand that line. Once I mapped it out and I show you the metrics and I say, okay, 1% are clicking on your ad, like 10% are adding a product to your cart, and another 20% are buying, for example, right? So you have a conversion rate of X%. They understand this, but you have to explain it first. So I believe a big job of today's agencies is to really educate your client in a transparent and honest way so that they can, based on their new knowledge that they attained, can make the right decisions.
Yeah. And now I understand the importance of that one-day workshop where basically while you are trying to understand your client, you educate your client to understand the social media and also to look at the whole customer journey and not only at the social media metrics.
Exactly. I mean, usually the client knows its products and its services best. And we should know social media best. So if these two worlds can really work with each other, the best results come out.
Yeah.
What I learned in the past.
Yeah, that's great. That's pretty insightful. My next question for you is, how do you calculate the social media ROI? What type of cost do you include in this in calculating the return of investment?
It's very much individual. The easiest, of course, is when we focus on performance marketing. The first step we take a look at, I called it already, is to see like if people are clicking on the ad. So it's the click-through rate. The second one is to see like what's the add to cart rate. So how many people are coming to the site, adding a product to the cart. The next metric is the purchase rate. To understand like the conversion rate. How many people are actually that entering the site are buying from you. And there are two different ways in how to measure it. Once it's called ROAS, it's a return on ad spend. For example, you have a return on ad spend of free. It means like you spend 100 euro on ads and you earn 300 euro. And of course, the full scope, with some clients, it's hard to measure because they don't give you the transparent way in giving you all the different factors, is your return on investment. When you calculate this, you need to factor in everything, like the creation that you need for the ads, the money you spend on the agency, the money you spend on your website, the money on everything else to get your real return on investment. For most clients, it's ROAS. For bigger ones, where we work on a longer scale, we try to factor in everything to really understand the return on investment.
Okay. Do you use, when it comes to some specific tools, do you have a method or do you use a specific tool to track the social media ROI?
Sure, we have a couple of tools that we're using. First and forehand, of course, at the beginning, Social Insight is an amazing tool for many reasons. I can tell you how we use your software, for example. So especially for Clarity Day, usually what we do is we ask, who are your competitors in your market? And also, don't care about your market, your industry, your niche. Tell me people or tell me brands you really think they're doing a good job. So we're taking all these brands, usually it's between 5 and 15 for a client, and we put them in Social Insider to see and compare and benchmarking what they are doing to understand, okay, who of them are really doing a good job? Who are growing very quickly, who are posting a lot, who have a great engagement rate, what's the best content, what are maybe good giveaways, what are maybe specific words they're looking for. Right now, people think a lot about values, which is great, sustainability, and so on. So are they posting about these topics? To really understand what's great content. And then we built a landscape of it to understand who is best in class. Because sometimes clients think that this competitor is doing a great job, but he's not. Maybe he's doing a great sales job, but he's not doing a good social media job. But a totally other competitor is doing a great job. So we take a look at it, and then we explain and kind of demystify what they are doing, that the client really understands, okay, this is great content in my industry. So that's where Social Insider really helps. And of course, we also get the status quo of the brand we're working with or about to work with and say okay, what are the goals? So we can measure it and send them automatic reports every month to see how we are progressing on the different networks that we are focusing on. But there are other ones, for example, for ads, we are using Swedo to give reports about the social performance when we run ads. We use Agora polls for community management. So there are different ones that we're using in the social media landscape. But especially at the beginning and to understand progress, Social Insight is a great tool.
That's pretty interesting. Basically, you once you are looking at the competitors, you are trying to understand their expectation from you as an agency, because maybe if they're looking at a specific competitor and they think that this is they are good at social media, and you are trying to and then you are looking at another competitors and you show to your client that look, they are going really look at what it means to be good at social media. Basically, for you as a business owner, you understand the emotional aspects of working with you, why they are choosing you, and why they are what they are trying to get from the working from the working with you as with Attractive Media.
I believe the person who's closest to the client always wins. What I understand by that is the person who adds the most value should win, and that's just fair.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from an educational background. I'm a lecturer, and I'm doing this for a couple of years. I was doing this for 2 years on Periscope every day. I had more than 200,000 followers. So I love to teach.
Yeah.
That's why deep in our DNA of Attractive Media is to educate the client. And I believe agencies should do that. It's not about right now to keep the client in the dark,
Yeah.
to make them dependent on you. It's about educating and growing with the client and doing these tasks he can't do. There is still so much he can't do usually because he don't have the workforce to do so. But by educating the client properly, that's how we keep clients, and that's how we don't need to drive money on ads and these kind of things, because we focus a lot on really helping the client to understand what are their options. And then, for example, let's give you an example. Instead of being dependent on us by creating content for them, we explain them tools like Canva, how they can do it on their own. How they can do it on a global scale. We create maybe templates by our graphic designers, like 10 content templates for stories and posts, and then they can use it on their own. And then they say, okay, maybe you can educate us on a different field. I really believe that you should build your internal agency as a client, depending on your budget, of course. And we love to help with this. I mean, attractive media is based on two different pillars. One pillar is the whole doing for you part, and the other one is that teaching. We have Attractive Academy on top, right, where we try to teach them with different modules and so on. So I believe that's important nowadays because it's so changing so quickly. We have TikTok, we have LinkedIn, we have Instagram, we have so many different platforms, right? You cannot keep up in the know with everything. That's why you need external sources that help you with it.
Yeah. I was wondering how many people got involved in measuring the social media performance from your team?
It depends a bit on the amount of clients we are actually running. There's always one person who's focusing on this for all the clients, but she's doing the reports for all of them. On top of it, of course, every account manager, depending on the client he's working on, he's also responsible to understand his metrics, especially on a performance level. I mean, if you spend money on ads, no matter if it's on Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook, you need to check it on a daily basis. But reportings we give on a monthly basis. So there are two different ways. There's that one person who creates all the reports, who explains it to the client, what happened. Also, not only what is the client doing, but also what are the competitors doing, that he can create, for example, better content or help us to understand like what worked internally, like also. So there are two different ways. We have account managers who take a look at the daily metrics, and we have one person focusing on social media ROI who creates the reports.
Okay. My last question for you, Alex, is if there are some common mistakes to avoid when tracking the social media ROI?
Well, there are a couple of challenges, I would say. I mean, one challenge is attribution, right? If somebody is buying, for example, and let's say, let's make an easy example. Somebody's seeing something on Facebook, and then he's not clicking on it, but he's turning on Google because he want to Google the brand. And then he's coming to the website, but he's still not. And then he gets retargeted, and then he's buying. So who was responsible for it? Was it Google? Was it Facebook? Was it both? We don't know. So there is a big challenge in attribution. Google will say in analytics, hey, it was us. Facebook will say, no, it was us, right?
Yeah.
So that's one challenge, which also Google and Facebook can't tell you what is right. Usually it's in the middle of both. Both is important. You need to be omnipresent. So that's hard. Another thing is trying to compare apples and peas. To say like, okay, because he clicked here or he liked this, we need to understand that. Let's make another example. We need to understand that we're not living in a perfect world. Like 20 years ago, we were running something in a magazine or a TV ad, and we were directly seeing sales. Nowadays, especially if you sell a high-priced product, we're living in a world where people see you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different times, and then they're buying. But you cannot say that the last thing they saw was the deciding factor. So we need to understand that basically what we try to build with social media is how the Americans say, KLT. The people need to know you, People need to like you, and the people need to trust you. If I know you, if I like you, if I trust you, then I will buy from you. So social media helps you with all three. Of course, you can drive brand awareness, that people get to know you. But then you can do live. You can try to focus on your engagement. You can text messages on Instagram to the people, ask why they follow you. You can offer some things. You can build trust by posting press releases, posting testimonials of people, that the people see, oh, other people also like it. I mean, there are two ways to increase trust. I can say, well, listen, I'm the best. You have to work with me. Believe me. It's the first option. Second option is I can tell you, well, there are 100 5-stars review of other people who say that's a great product. That's a great service. What will work best?
Yeah.
The second one, what other people are saying. But then it's about doing good stuff and let people talk about it. Because 20 years ago, we were telling the client what they should think. Now the clients are telling each other what they should think, right? Because we all become a sender. So it's about, a common mistake is to just take one metric and say that's the truth, the one single source of truth, because there is so much more we have to focus on. And we have to evaluate all of these to build up a strategy.
Yeah. Pretty insightful, Alex. Thank you so much for sharing the way you are working at Attractive Media and what's important for you. I was made some notes, and I'm trying to do a summary, because for everyone who maybe watch later this live, so Alex was told me when you are trying to measure the social media ROI for a client, it's important to understand the landscape of your client, the context, and the competition landscape, and so on. That's why they are creating a one-day workshop where they are trying to understand the status quo of that client and what they are trying to reach out using social media. And also, it's an opportunity for you as a business owner to understand what you can do, to understand what's important to measure on social media. Maybe for your client, it's important to measure customer satisfaction, reach, traffic, sales, and so on. Basically, is a place where both of you and your client, agree on what you can do together, and then come up with the plan to reach out those goals. When it comes to the primary business value of social media, Alex told me that for him is important his employees, then the customers of his clients, then his clients. And it's pretty interesting if you look at this. I don't know how to say it. If you look at this, at this, what you get from understanding each type of to understand what's important for you as a business. Alex, without his team, he cannot create what he creates at Attractive Media, and of course, his clients cannot create what they create with having their clients. When it comes to how to calculate the social media ROI, Alex told us that it's important to look at the click-to rate, the click-to-cart, and the conversion rate over your website. And usually, for big clients, he measures the returns of ad spend. And for clients who don't spend so much, who don't invest so much in ads, he focused only on the return of investment from social media. The social media ROI tools, I have to mention that Alex is a long-time fan of Social Insider. He's using Social Insider from the beginning. He gave us a lot of feedback. We worked together on other projects. And thank you so much, Alex, for being with us and recommend our tool, and because you find it useful in the first day of understanding your client, and to understand what the client is doing on social media, to understand, to do a competitor research, to understand the content, and so on. Also, Alex told us that he's using Agora Pulse for community management, and Swido for Facebook ads. When it comes to how many people got involved in measuring the social media performance, he has one person who will do all the reporting, which is monthly based, and an account manager who is on a daily. He's looking daily on and track the metrics, the most important metrics for the campaign. To focus on people have to know you, people have to like you, and people have to trust you. And make sure you create stuff for these three levels. Brand awareness is the first one. You should focus. People have to know you. Then to like you, maybe you can create lives. Maybe you create you have a email newsletter where you can showcase what you are doing, and to trust you, you can get testimonials, customer success stories, and also time you should doing good stuff, and in the final people will be talking about you. Thank you so much, Alex. I hope I did. I integrated all the good stuff that you told me today. I didn't know that your DNA at Attractive Media is education. Now I understand why you are also a teacher and a lecturer. You can find Alex on social media. You can find him on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter to find all things social. And you can reach out to Alex to ask him questions and get more insights from here. Thank you so much. Thank you again for doing this, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.